I really want to challenge everybody that watches this video, whether you're subscribed to my channel or not, to please watch this video till the end because I think there's some points that I'm going to make in this video and some South Africans really need to hear this. But before I get into that, ladies and gentlemen, please leave a like on this video, share it far and wide, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. All right, let's get into it.
Issues of vibrators.
To make sure that we leave no unturned and stone.
Did I hear that correctly? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Newsflash. I'm your host, Joe Emilio. Okay, so like I said at the beginning of this video, I'd really like people to watch this through because I'm going to talk about something that I think is very difficult for South Africans to admit, to acknowledge, to just hear. And I think the situation in South Africa is getting really bad where we need to stop just turning the other cheek and really try and address the problem. What am I talking about? Well, now some of you may have seen this viral video that has gone everywhere on social media of a man attacking an elderly couple. Now, because of YouTube policies, I cannot show you the entire video. It's just too graphic. So this is what happened. An elderly couple was attacked with a panga this morning and ended up fighting for their lives in Plet. Context below. This morning at 5:17 a.m., an older couple was brutally attacked by a man armed with a panga outside our property at 21 blah blah blah. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims during this difficult time. We urge everyone to exercise extreme caution and remain vigilant. Be on the lookout for any suspicious individuals. Your safety is our priority. And it would seem that Kifness himself knew this elderly couple. He writes, "This couple that got attacked this morning are the parents of a friend from my church. I just spoke to him now. Remarkably, the injuries are not as bad as they could have been. The dad had 7 stitches in his head, but the panga luckily didn't go through the skull. His mom's in surgery right now to fix her broken arm from being flung to the ground, and a couple of stitches or 2 stab wounds to the same arm. It could have been worse if the knife had gone into the body. Praise God, they are alive. Please keep them in your prayers." Lastly, I really hope Cyril Ramaphosa and Julius Malema see this, because unfortunately, every time Cyril blames our problems on apartheid or Julius sings "Kill the Boer," it emboldens people like this to make senseless attacks on innocent people. It needs to stop. Now, there is some good news because a man has been arrested in connection with the panga attack on the couple. And I just want to clarify that this didn't happen this morning when you're watching this video. At the time of recording, this was already a day or two ago. But why am I talking about this story? Because if you watch the footage, it is absolutely horrific how a man can just out of the blue just attack 2 white people. Now, there's a lot of things I could say about this. I myself posted on Twitter and I said that had this been a white man or white individual attacking 2 black elderly people, the internet would have gone absolutely insane. Cyril Ramaphosa would have said something, the police minister would have said something, everybody you can think of would have been up in arms, hundreds of articles would have been written, racism would have been called out, you would be sick to death from the story. But when a black man attacks 2 elderly people, yeah, a few articles got written, the video did go a little bit viral, but it was also disturbing how some people reacted. I mean, just take a look at this a-hole who decided to put lol when this news broke.
What the hell?
There is something very disturbing with South Africans, and I don't care. I'm not talking about black, white, Indian, colored. I'm talking about South Africans in general. The violent crime in this country is just getting out of hand. And this is the South Africa we're living in, ladies and gentlemen, where 2 elderly couple cannot just take a nice morning stroll anymore without having to arm themselves. And I got nothing against guns. I think this story just proves that we need to be armed because the police ain't gonna help us. The justice system is flawed, which is why some of these individuals think that they can just walk around and attack people like this. And Kifness mentioned something very important about politicians. How when they go out there on the stage and they spew this rhetoric of theirs, that it emboldens certain individuals. Take farm attacks, for example. Here is Theo de Jager, who is the chairman of SAI, who recently put out this statistics for January 2025. Look at the farm attacks in just January 25. Ladies and gentlemen, even by the time you watch this video, January 2025 isn't even over yet. And these are the amount of murders that have happened on farms in South Africa already in 2025. And for the South Africans that think that it's a foreign problem, like foreigners coming here to South Africa and they are killing South Africans, you'd be wrong, especially when it comes to farm attacks. According to SAP's data obtained by AfriForum, 78% of suspects arrested for farm attacks are South Africans. 90% of those arrested and convicted for farm murders are also South African. Who sings "Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer"?
Why am I not surprised?
Again, going back to the point of politicians, when they say stuff, sometimes it does resonate with individuals and then they go off and do crazy stuff like this. And before the anti-farm attack brigade come after me, I'm not just talking about farm attacks here. I'm talking about violent crime in general. South Africa has a very bad violent crime problem. It's not just on the farms, and it's not just in Plet, where you might see some rich people walking in the streets. This goes down to even the townships. Have a look at what Ian Cameron posted recently. He said, since January 8th, a violent gang turf war has ravaged Tafelsig and Lentegeur in Mitchell's Plain, claiming at least 7 lives and leave 5 injured. This senseless violence has devastated the community, with innocent lives caught in the crossfire, including a 6-year-old girl and a 76-year-old man. So not only do we have to worry about random people that might attack us in the streets, we also have to worry about gang violence that might be happening in our neighborhood. And not to mention GBV. But I think what's worse than all of this is the violence on children. On New Year's Day, January 2025, the lifeless body of a 5-year-old, guys, was discovered in the bushes in East Rand. She had gone to play at a friend's house earlier that day and never returned home. A 5-year-old, guys. A freaking 5-year-old was murdered. And what could be even worse than that, or maybe just as bad, is that some of these babies and children are being SA'd. And no, that doesn't stand for South African. I just can't say the full term on YouTube for some reason. But they are being SA'd in the worst way you can possibly think of. So what is it? What is the point of this video? And like I said, or I briefly mentioned earlier, is to show you the South Africa that you live in. For all of you that are too busy to take in what the politicians are doing to this country, for those of you that are too busy to take a moment and look around you and realize that this country is not the hunky-dory country you think it is. There is a great divide in this country, and the rich in this country, and I'm not attacking the rich, just hear me out. I'm talking about the Constantia people, the Sea Point people that think they live in South Africa, have no idea what the real South Africa is like. They might hear about the violence here and there, but they have no idea what is going on. While the poor literally suffer every day. And I'm not blaming the rich for this. I blame the politicians. 100% I blame the politicians. The politicians in this country do not give a damn about the South African people. We live in what has been called a war zone, or just as bad. And those of you that keep turning a blind eye towards crime, or crime statistics rather, you need to take a look at the situation. Because if you do not accept that this is the South Africa you live on, or you live in, change will never happen. What I am hoping by saying all this is that when you take it in and you start seeing it, that maybe next time election comes around, you won't just be like, oh, well, I'm not going to vote. You need to vote. You need to do something. Something needs to happen. We need to put the right people in charge. And I know. Who do we pick? I know. And maybe in the next elections, I'll do more research and I'll try and find a politician or politicians that we can, it's difficult to say trust, but at least have hope in, I guess. I don't know. All I'm trying to say is it's getting to a point where we have to say enough is enough. And at what point are we going to say enough is enough? We can't just ignore this day in, day out, year after year. We just can't. So please, if there's anyone you know who doesn't understand the dire situation that we are in South Africa, you need to show them this video. And trust me, I'm just talking about crime. I'm not talking about all the other issues that South Africans have, like possible more taxes being implemented and all the other terrible things that these politicians are doing. But I believe that it starts with the safety of the South African people. We are not safe in this country. And the more and more this happens, we could have a very dangerous situation on our hands. But let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below, ladies and gentlemen. And while you're there, leave a like on this video and please share this video far, 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 far and wide. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I've got more content coming your way. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Your newsflash is in.
I don't know if this is a thing at every Woolies, but at Woolies in Durban North, I just bought these Viennas, okay, and they're expensive, but they were 20 Rand off, so it was 89 Rand. And then they went through for their normal price, 109. So I was just like, oh, guys, you know what, I wouldn't have bought Viennas if it was 110 Rand. So the lady, she like, I don't know, I was on the phone and then she like hands me 110 Rand. So I was like, no, Joel, I want the Viennas, so just give me the 20 Rand, you know? So she's like, no, if we get the price wrong, you get them for free. I got them for free so I got my 110 Rand Viennas for free. I love Woolies.